What's up, Daddies? We're going to be making some predictions about who are the wolves in the Walking Dead television series. They don't exist in the comic books, but there's going to be a bunch of spoilers for the comic books, so you've been warned. If you're not up to date on the comics of the TV show, I don't feel bad if I spoil you, because I warned you. So who are the wolves? I've talked about this a few times. Now we know a lot more about them. We know they tie people to trees, they carve W's in heads, they cut people up. Why? Probably to use zombies as weapons. I'll get into that. So there's a couple possibilities from the comic book source material for The Walking Dead that the wolves could be these groups. First of all, there's the likely candidates, the DC Scavengers. Now, I say likely because of the timeliness of their entry, not because of their characteristics. The DC Scavengers are a group of bandits who aren't good people, who are the type of people Deanna wouldn't allow into the safe zone. When the Rick and Peter Anderson fight culminates, it ends up with Rick shooting Pete in the head. In the comics, that hasn't happened on the show, so I haven't spoiled you. There's no proof that's going to happen, even though it probably will. So that gunshot, though, leads to the DC Scavengers hearing it. They follow the sound of it to the Alexandria safe zone, and then they have a gunfight because they want to get in. You know how that's going to go. Anyone who has a problem with Rick, doesn't matter if he doesn't have a beard anymore, they're not going to win. Let's face it, they are not going to win. So Andrea's up in the bell tower. She snipes them all out pretty much. It's going to be Sasha this time, I'm pretty sure, because Sasha has been talking about the bell tower, and they should have someone up there on the scouts. Sasha's kind of crazy, so she's going to love shooting these people, I'm sure. Then that leads to a horde of walkers attacking. That's besides the point. Then there's another group called the Saviors. You've heard of them. You know you have. They are led by that guy named Negan. While I don't think we're going to see Negan this season or the TV version of the Saviors, the Saviors' characteristics, they really fit what we've seen so far from the Wolves. Now, I say that because when we saw the Shire World Estates, there was wolves not far spray painted there, indicating that they were the ones who destroyed that community and killed Noah's mom with the gash in her head, which looked like could have been from a baseball bat, which we know Negan to use. And then there's there's the W's and the foreheads. The Saviors have used walkers as weapons before. Now, I'm not going to say they have an army of walkers, but they have walkers chained to their gates at their warehouse type base. It's called the Sanctuary. They have walkers chained up as a defense system. They have used walkers as weapons. They've covered their weapons in walker guts, their bullets, their knives, their arrows in walker guts, so that even a nick from a knife will end up killing their enemies, which makes me think that the characteristics of the wolves more belong to the Saviors, but I don't think it's going to be the Saviors because the Saviors won't be introduced for a while. A lot has to happen before the Saviors come into play. Then there's the possibility of the Whisperers. Now, this would be really far in advance or really out of order if they're going to try to follow the comic books. It would be great Easter egg and planting for the future, but I don't think this is the case. But the Whisperers are a group that's still young in the comics. They're still getting developed. We just learned a lot about them in the newest issue, that they live so inhumanely and lawlessly. They're a group that wears zombie flesh masks and just walks around with them, roaming around with walkers, so trying to fit in and not get noticed. So it's a possibility that the wolves are just called the Whisperers. I think they're going to be the DC Scavengers. I think there's going to be a conflict. I think Daryl and Aaron are going to end up meeting the DC Scavengers and probably get taken hostage and brought back to Alexandria. I don't know that everything's going to happen in the order that happened in the comics. For example, like I just said, it may not be the gunshot killing Pete that leads the DC Scavengers to Alexandria. It may, in fact, be they find Daryl and Aaron and take them hostage, and they have to lead them back to the community. Or they might have them, and then the gunshot happens, and then end up going there anyway, and they have a hostage situation outside the gate. So let me know what you think. That's the possibilities for the DC Scavengers for the Wolves on my end, the DC Scavengers, the Saviors, or the Whisperers, if they're going to go by the comics. It's not impossible that they deviate, but for the most part, this season especially, they have been following the comic books. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to our Comicbook.com YouTube channel for more news, interviews, and clips, and follow us on Twitter. It's going to be a long off-season, but we'll bring you all the news about The Walking Dead, including San Diego Comic-Con, everything from there that we can. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I think he's eventually going to find the safe zone, and in the comics, if they follow the route of the comics, it's going to be interesting because I don't know why they would tease him so